Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Hey, Scott.
Morning. Jessica's on vacation this week, so she won't be joining us.
Oh, that's right. I recall that. I think I got her out of office.
Yes.
Responded to something.
And I got the proxy from Gina, so she'll be in for Billy.
Michelle is having some difficulties.
I just sent Michelle, I copied and pasted the link directly off your email.
I admitted her to the thing several times, but it keeps kicking her out.
There she is.
There's
She said that when I forwarded the invitation, that it was just like disappearing. So
Well, it's a secret message, Judge. It's disappearing ink.
yeah.
Need your super secret decoder ring to get the.
That's right. If you haven't sent in for yours, you need some more cereal box tops.
That's right.
being able to disappear would be very beneficial at times.
Yeah, electronically, amen. Well, we can give Gina another minute to see if she can sign in. We have a quorum, but we can give her another minute. And Scott, you were sending out last minute additions to your material.
Yes. What I'll be sharing is the updated version. I found an error yesterday when I was preparing for this meeting.
Okay.
Dina, is that you?
Yes, it is. I'm sorry I'm late. I had a little trouble connecting, but
You're fine. Thank you.
Appreciate you going to the trouble to find a way to sign on with us. So thank you. Why don't we go ahead and call our meeting to order? And if the minutes could reflect that Judge Covington and I are present, and Mr. Parker has sent Gina as a proxy. And we have a copy of our minutes of our last meeting. If you'd like to look those over, or a motion for approval.
I've reviewed those and would make a motion to approve as presented.
Thank
I
you.
second that motion.
And motion's been made and seconded. If there's no questions, all in favor say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Thank you. Minutes are approved. Scott, you had you provided us with a suggested payment plan policy. If you'd like to walk us through that and your recommendation.
Yes, this is the payment plan. Actually, Jessica and Andrew and I worked on last week at our pre-commission meeting. And in addition to that, there is the actual payment plan agreement that we will work from. Obviously, this is a draft where the analyst would put in the pertinent information for this particular taxpayer, and if it requires my signature, what that would look like. I broke this down, put it in the body of the email that I sent out Friday. It basically boils down to this. We're going to have three scenarios. Number one, if the plan request is for less than 24 months, they're requesting a payment plan of less than 24 months, and the balance that they owe is less than $10,000. The staff and analysts should be able to approve that payment plan without any further ado. They'll have to use the form I just shared with you, but it doesn't necessarily require my signature. The second scenario would be if they want longer than 24 months and the balance is less than $10,000, they would have to submit it to me and I would approve those. And then any payment plan where the taxpayer is requesting anything exceeding 48 months, or in a case if the balance exceeds $10,000, we would bring those and only those to the Board of Commissioners for you folks to review. ask questions, and either approve or deny. So that's basically the long and short of the plan. So we're asking for approval to move forward with that policy and using that form and this format moving forward.
I believe that streamlines things. Everything's black and white, and it seems very reasonable to me. I'd make a motion to approve as presented.
Thank you, Judge.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Gina. And I agree, Judge. I think it's always seemed odd to me that it seems like we're real strict with only 24-month payback options. And this actually gives a stamp of board approval on longer payment options when the circumstances dictate that they be appropriate. And I think the levels you've established are appropriate for staff approval. And when it makes that one jump to the board level, yeah, all in favor say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Thank you, Scott.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It gives the taxpayer more options, and we have a little bit more flexibility, and we won't be bringing as many things to the commissioners for approval moving forward. So I think it's a win-win-win for everyone.
Yes, sir. Item 5.
Okay, this is just a verbal update. We're getting close here. We have 2 demos for our Lockbox RFP. As I mentioned in prior meetings, the 3 banks have bid on this. So 2 will be on August 10th and 1 will be on the 16th. So that is continuing to move forward. Tomorrow, VC3 will be here, and we're going to do a mock demo because they're using Teams. We want to make sure, because we've never done this before, we'll all be in the conference room, and we'll be having this type of an event where all 3 banks will be wherever they're located. It'll be 100% virtual. So we're just going to do a dry run to work out any technical kinks. That'll be the next step tomorrow, and then we just look forward to the demos in August. So no action required there. Just wanted to give everyone an update. But that's going to be a pretty big step for us when we make this move.
Yeah, that we've acknowledged that that's a big move for the commission. Scott, those demos are something that you all will attend, you all will participate in, and then report to us. We don't have any need to be in those, do we?
No, it'll be our entire staff, because obviously everybody will be affected and impacted by this internally here. We're going to try to have Andrew and Stacy, because they will be part of the scoring team for this RFP, if they can attend this. And the 2 real key people is our 2 managed service providers. So Eric Johansson, who's our account manager with VC3, he will be attending. Obviously, he'll be looking at the IT impact of this and any cybersecurity vulnerabilities we need to address as we move to a more virtual environment and away from the paper process. And the second will be our other MSP, which is Mary Hodges from Database Services. This will really be where the rubber meets the road. Is the file that whichever vendor we pick, they be able to import it into our existing FileMaker database? So they seem pretty confident that will be the case, but they're going to be technically the 2 key people who will be attending all 3 of these demos as well. So
good. Sounds well thought out, and we look forward to hearing the results.
More to come.
Yes, sir. Okay, and you have auditor scheduled, it looks like.
Yes, this is, of course, an annual event. Our auditors, we've already nailed down. They're going to be here the week of Monday, the 22nd, right after the week after we finish up our demos. They've already sent us the documents. We've already gathered a bunch of them. Actually, probably today or tomorrow, I'll be uploading the first batch to their portal. So that is moving ahead. I'm anxious to get this completed this year in August. Sometimes it stretches into September or October, but September is going to be a busy time this year with conferences. So I'd like to get this done and put to bed, and they can do their work and hopefully maybe get our report about a month or so early this year. So again, no action there, just a verbal update.
Thank you. And general discussion. Thank you. There's the report.
So first bullet point here: no KEDFR or BSSC reports. No new projects for Scott County approved in June. We do have the KJRA report here on our tax incentive. We're 2 months in on this employer's new fiscal year, so nothing new there. That we're still on the same flat rate format where the city and the county are each paying 110 a month, and then the 20,000 goes to Scott County United. So nothing new there. Any questions on that? All right. Fireworks tent report. This is something we report out to you every year. In June, of course, is busy with fireworks stands, which we're very hopping this year, it seemed like. So Frank always goes around because they're here for such a short period of time, make sure that any of them in the city, we have not only the registration for the business license, but the regulatory fee, that we've got all that taken care of. So Frank keeps a close eye on them, usually visits all of them and makes sure that they're all good to go. And most years it's not their first rodeo, so they know what the deal is and don't usually have any problems with this. But we like to report out because it is a good influx of business in the month of June.
Okay, good.
Work from home. We have talked about this before, the work from home refund impact. I'm going to have the final update for the fiscal year that ended June 30th next month. I'm going to give you a little bit more detail than last time. I'm going to give you some ranges of how many of them work from home 10% of the time versus 20% of the time, things of that nature. I also had the opportunity a few weeks ago with the Kentucky League of Cities Local Leader Academy. Our event was at Murray State University at the College of Business, and I've got some additional information there. Actually, Chris Woolridge, who's the director for the Center of Economic and Entrepreneurial Development there at Murray, shared with me a white paper that I will be sharing with you that's dated July 20th. It was put together by the National Bureau of Economic Research, and it's filled with economist speak, but there's a lot of good information in there about remote work and what has happened so far, what they anticipate from an economic point of view is going to happen moving forward. It's a fascinating report. It's only about 17 pages. I will share it with you, and then we'll have a deeper discussion, fold in our impact locally from what happened. And then yesterday, Chris and I had a phone conversation to kind of follow up on it and to make sure that my decoding of the economist speak was accurate. And he said it was. So I'm going to be sharing that with you next month. So very interesting.
Is the feeling still that work from home is going to be a significant impact on the way we collect these revenues?
Well, there is an impact. It's not the way we collect the revenues. It's how much additional refunds we will have to be issuing that have a work from home component. I mean, we've always issued lots of refunds, especially with our largest employer here and with the North American engineering headquarters for that employer also being here. A lot of those folks travel extensively, but the new wrinkle is the work from home component. They're still visiting suppliers. They're still going to Canada, Mexico, and Japan. But what's new is what's folded in now is anywhere from what we've experienced here is anywhere from 2 to 100% of the refund that is requested has a work from home component. So I'm going to break that down for you. One of the main takeaways, at least as the data is looking now, is it's here to stay in one form or fashion. And some of the initial data, we thought, well, this may just be a transitory thing, but we'll get into that more next month with once you've had time to digest the white paper, and I can kind of break down with my conversations with Chris what his thoughts are. But pretty interesting.
It is going to be interesting. It seems like it's going to require a whole lot of collaboration and reciprocity with other jurisdictions.
That's absolutely correct. And the other thing is the payroll providers and the companies that do their own in-house payroll are going to have to be making some additional adjustments. I don't know if I shared with you last meeting or not, but my wife works for Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. She's been there 20 years. And in January of this year, they sent out an email, kind of a shot across the bow, telling their employees, look, you need to be prepared for your withholdings to change. Because if where you're working from home, wherever home is, if their local tax is higher than when you're here in the office, your paycheck's going to be smaller. Of course, it could work the other way too. They could have a lower tax rate, or there may be no local taxes wherever home is when you're working from home. So you may see your paycheck increase, but they're going to be needing to make these adjustments. You know, the reason we have employee refunds is, you know, an engineer from Toyota may not know when he goes to work on Monday that on Thursday he's got to fly out to Canada. These things are very fluid. So that's why after the fact, you know, they can't make adjustments on the fly, payroll withholdings for things like that. But if you're working from home 2 days a week or 3 days a week, that's a different story. If that's the company's policy and they're able to do that and they're taking advantage of that, well, they need to adjust the withholdings accordingly. And they're starting to realize that, and some are already doing it.
Good. Well, thanks. We look forward to the white paper.
I think those, the refunds that people will be asking for will be post end of year, or do you think they will come monthly to us?
No, it's done on a yearly basis. So when they get their W-2s, now they have 2 years. They can go back 2 years. So some of them choose to do them 2 years at a time and only do them once every 2 years. Some people do it every year like clockwork. But no, those refunds, I mean, we see them trickle in over the month, but they do them a year at a time once they get their W-2.
I was looking at our collections. Our collections really only didn't suffer much, and I wondered when those would hit to, you know, anticipate what they would do to us. But
well, we've already been doing them. They're heavy in January, February, and March, just like when people are filing their federal and state income tax. We see them all year long because some people are just slower to do it. But the bulk of the ones for 2021 we've already done, and we, you know, now it's kind of a slow time for these refunds. A few will trickle in. But the bulk of the people who were going to file based on how they, you know, what their work outside of Georgetown was for 2021, they've already filed.
good. That's good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions on that topic?
We'll be talking a lot more about this topic in the future. Trust me.
Sounds like it.
The next item here is our June stats. As you can see, overall, we're up about 5%, a little less than 5%. The city's up exactly 5% at 89,000. The county, 6% at 117. And sorry, Jeannie, you guys just barely made it. You did have an increase, but it was a pretty small one for the month of June. So we did finish strong, up across the board for June. This is our new accounts and closed accounts. So for the first 6 months, we're sitting at 613 new accounts open and 525 closed. That's an average of 102 for the first 6 months. New accounts and 88 closed accounts for the first 6 months. By comparison, this same time period last year, we were sitting at 660 on new and 268 closed. But as we talked about in prior months, we had this large, these were not businesses closing. This was account maintenance of businesses that probably had been closed for a long time. We were just cleaning up some accounts. But that, as you can see in the last 2 months, has stabilized. For June, we had 88 new and 34 closed. And you can see by comparison to June last year, we were at 101 and 65. So we're still a little short of where we were as far as new businesses for June of 2020, but almost half of the closed accounts that we had in June of last year. So that accounts being closed is kind of stabilized as far as an internal function. So
it's normalizing just a little bit after that activity.
Yes, and we're still averaging 102 new accounts, which again, if that trend keeps up, we'll be, you know, well over 1,000 new accounts set up this year again. So any questions on any of that information for June?
It's good.
All right, so we will move on to the quarterly collection stats. And I put on here that there will be a final update in August. This is just the general, what we talk about every month. I'm going to go a little bit deeper, break this down for you some more. How much of this was net profit, city, county, school? How much of it was net profit, penalty, and interest, city, county, school? Same for payroll. I'll give you more of a breakdown. Try to see if I can see if there were any significant payments that we received that may have impacted this. I'm not aware of any. But I'm going to do a little bit deeper dive for you. But I want to go ahead and share the information with you. As we talked about, we needed to finish strong for the fourth quarter. boy, did we finish strong. That $2.4 million, that's the highest quarter, certainly this year, double the next highest quarter. So we did finish indeed very strong in the fourth quarter. You'll see the city also almost $1 million up over the same quarter last year. County 1.1 million, and school board 261,000. And the same true if you go back and look at the prior 3 quarters. A big number here in the fourth quarter as compared to the other quarters. So where that puts us for the year is $48,405,618. That was our aggregate collections. This was last year, so that's an increase of almost $4 million over what we collected last year. And last year, I'll have this information for you, but I believe this number last year was up 2.8 million from the year before that. So very strong fiscal year for us. You can see the city saw an increase of 1.4 million altogether for the fiscal year. All collections, an increase of 1.4 million over the prior year. The county 1.6 million, and the school board 321,000. So that's high level aggregate collections, but a very strong fiscal year.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I say. Wow, Mayor. You know, if people can stay at work and our economy can level out, would not shock me if we bust the 50 million aggregate. Would you? Am I out of line? Am I in left field?
No, that's my takeaway too. Is we're knocking on $50 million here, and if things do stabilize, cautiously optimistic, this may be the new normal for us. This is probably, as we've narrowed the tax gap through a lot of the efforts we've done here over the past few years. I think these are the dividends reflected in those efforts, and so very good news on the eve of some maybe not so pleasant economic news coming out nationally tomorrow. We're in a very good position here.
Yeah. That's a good report to see, Scott. We're fortunate in that regard, and wow.
Yeah. Big numbers.
Yeah, and Scott, it's not lost on me that the 3 commissioners, our commission now is confident in our ability to protect, manage, and track dollar amounts of this magnitude. You know what you found when you arrived, and I know what I found when I came into office. And this would have overwhelmed the prior commission long ago. We simply were not in a position to perform at this level and accurately and with confidence track this type of revenue. I'm just real proud of the progress the commission's made. And,
well, thank you. I can tell you, we got a great team here, and everybody contributes to this, every single person in their own way. I'm just the guy that's lucky enough to get to come present it to you. And so, you know, when you interviewed me for this position 6 years ago, I think I've shared this before. One of the things you told me was that one of the problems you were experiencing at the time was that the Revenue Commission, I believe the exact quote was, operates in virtual anonymity.
yeah, that's right.
I apologize. I probably looked at you like you had 3 heads, because, you know, at the Revenue Commission in Louisville, nothing could be further from the truth. We were very far up the food chain and a lot of eyes on us and everything. So I have strived over the last few years to try to, and maybe I've gone overboard in some cases and gone a little bit further than an executive summary should be, to kind of overcompensate for the fact that you were told nothing for so long. I want you to have the best information you can, because that's the information you need to make the decisions as leaders of our community moving forward. And you can't make good decisions without good data. And so that's something I'm always going to strive to give you the most accurate, up-to-date data so that you know where we've been and where this potentially may show that we're going.
It's good information, and I'm real pleased with the position that we're in as a commission.
Thank you very much. If there's no other questions about that, we'll move on to the next item here.
Yes, sir.
We don't see this kind of thing very often. Most people are not real happy to come visit us here, but Tammy shared this with me and I wanted to share it with you. This was, I've redacted all the taxpayer confidential information, but it's a payroll company that were having some issues. And as you can see there, the person's very appreciative for the help and goes on to state that they work with a lot of government agencies and you are by far the most friendly and helpful. So, and Tammy also wanted me to point out that she was not the only one. She's just the one that got this email. Several people actually helped this particular payroll company as we tried to resolve some of their issues. So again, don't see that very often. When we do, I like to share it.
Yeah, we're in an environment where those are rare. So
Very
congratulations to
Very
Tammy.
We'll
It's good to share positive.
yes, yes, we may frame this one and put it on the wall. We're not sure. Office photo. I wanted to share this with you. This area here, what used to be full of rocks and weeds and cigarette butts. It was quite unsightly. So Jessica kind of made it a personal project of hers. We cleaned it out, put some potting soil in there, and she chose some very hardy flowers. What happened was I was actually leaving at the end of the day. So this was probably about 4:30. 4:15, 4:30. I thought I forgot something and was heading back into the office to go and check and see. And it just kind of grabbed me. The color and everything was kind of stunning. It's very pleasing. You know, Jessica does a good job of keeping it watered. It just kind of really spruces the place up quite a bit. And I just thought that it's a very pleasing thing for the taxpayers and the citizens to come in and see. They still don't like to pay and don't particularly want to see us or talk to us, but that may make it a little bit more pleasant anyway, instead of looking at cigarette butts and rocks and other unsightly things. So I just hats off to Jessica. I know she's not here today, but she'll watch this video, I'm sure. And this is all her doing. She is quite the green thumb, and she provides a lot of gardening tips to all of us. So,
Well, that just shows. I'm sorry, Judge. Go ahead.
You didn't have those planters outside the basement of the library? Old library?
No, but there was some things growing out of the carpet in some places, I think, inside.
There were some rubber plants that
I didn't take any pictures of those, trust me.
That just shows pride in the workplace. And Andrew, it raises the bar. If we're going to move out there later this year, I assume that the space we'll be occupying has similar planters. So there you go. The gauntlet has been thrown down.
Well, Andrew's quite the gardener himself, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, we can have dueling flower beds.
Dueling flower beds, yeah. All right. So there's our two positive things this month. And this last thing here, I just want to share with you briefly. Department of Homeland Security came and spoke to us in May at our COLA conference in Frankfurt. And the gentleman that came there is the cybersecurity coordinator for our region of Kentucky. He's actually based in Lexington. He actually works for the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency. That's one of those federal alphabet soup groups. But CISA is a division of Department of Homeland Security. He and I had a long discussion after his presentation talking about our concerns about the premiums for the cybersecurity insurance, which we, of course, dealt with earlier this month. And a myriad of other features and concerns. And he offered to come. So he's coming next Tuesday, and he's going to meet with me. He's going to tour the facility. We're going to talk about our cybersecurity posture. We're going to talk about the lockbox, the impending move to that, and how that affects our security posture. There's a lot of resources there. One of the things he told us in May that you'll recall 4 years ago, we paid, I think it was $8,000 for a risk assessment. We probably need to have another one done after we move to the lockbox, because that's going to put us in a little bit different situation. And we may be able to get that done at no cost through CISA. So he's going to come take a look at our facility. And he also said, he's committed to all the community. So if any of you in your organizations would like to have a meeting with him, he said he'd be happy to kind of sit and do a custom review and tell you what's available through CISA via DHS. So I'm looking forward to that, and anything we can do to increase our security posture, especially as we move closer to more virtual options for us and the taxpayers to increase compliance. We've got to stay on top of this because it's just a daily deluge of potential threats out there.
Sounds like a really valuable resource.
Yes. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll be reporting back on some of his thoughts and suggestions and how we may move forward. So
Okay.
that is all I have. If there's no other questions on the general discussion, let's go back to our next meeting.
Yes. Wednesday, August 24th.
Yes.
Same place.
Same place, same time.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Gina, anything else that you have for the good of the order?
No, I do appreciate the offer from Homeland Security. We might take you up on that as well. Our cyber policy more than doubled. We hadn't had an incident, so we're kind of debating back and forth on that. So that's a good option. Thank you for sharing.
Yes, just email me whoever you would like him to contact. He just asked me to share the contacts. He'll reach out to you directly and work it out.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Judge. You got anything to add?
Well, along those lines, we're working and have met, and the wheels are in motion. For us, we're doing a server migration project to the Madison County. They call it the Kentucky County Government Cloud, and they're using excess data center space from the CSEP. And I think it's good for us, and pricing, I think, is a positive. But one of the things, they've met with CAECO, and there's no doubt that things are going to change on cybersecurity policies for county governments in the next year. And by doing what we're doing, I think we're trying to stay ahead of the bump. So I'll let y'all know how that goes, and I'm optimistic that it'll be a positive force and make us, redundant disaster recovery, and have a lot more secure, advantages by going with that. So I'll let you all know how that goes.
Good.
Yes, please do. I'd be very anxious to hear how that works out for you.
Yeah, and that sharing of resources makes lots of sense. So thank you. Is there anything else to come for the board today? Andrew?
Nothing for me.
Nothing from you. Okay. Well, Scott, thank you very much. Is there
Make a motion to adjourn.
There it is. And Gina, is that your second?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. All in favor, say aye, and thank you for your time this morning.
Thanks, everybody.